Hi, welcome back. So in this video, I want to limit the speed of the spaceship. So at the moment, the spaceship can accelerate to infinity and beyond. And we don't want that, else it'll be hard to play. So let's get started. So what we need to do is we should give our ship some kind of max speed. We'll give it a max speed. So we'll go public. Property, I always do public because I can't be bothered thinking about whether I want to expose it or not. Property max speed, and that's going to be the magnitude. That's actually the magnitude, the max magnitude of, right? So that means we need to resolute it to its components. Okay. All right. So that would then mean we should have also its components. I was wondering whether components should be private. Maybe they all should be private. So we've got V max speed and H max speed, right? So let's set our max speed to 3. And our horizontal vertical speeds, we don't know what they are because it's based on our angle. We need to resolve it depending on what angle we're facing. And when do we do that? The resolution, I think, should happen here where we thrust. So we need to resolve our vector here. Max speed would be our magnitude, and our angle is whatever angle we're facing. And you know what? This is our max speed components. You know what? I really should make this just like 1 point and then just sub it straight into there. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Just use a point. It should be a vector, but I'm just using a point. We set it to new point of 0, 0. Won't give it anything. Okay, so now here I can just put it straight into me.maxspeed, and then point F. And then I could now, after I've resoluted my max speed, I can now check my max speeds. If my you know what, I want to follow my naming conventions. I don't write speeds. If my max speed in the x direction is less than my if my current speed that I'm moving at, my vertical speed is, you know, less than or equal to my vertical velocity, max speed, my vertical speed. Actually it's max speed comp.x, right? If it's less than, so what I'm trying to say is, if this is moving in like the backwards direction and it gets to less than a negative back direction, then I want to set it to, I don't want it to go over. I want the me speed to be that. I want to just set it to the speed, so I limit the speed to that being the, I just limit the speed basically. Now, because I've got negatives and positives here, it's going to be a bit of an issue. I really should not care about the negatives and positive when I calculate it and just use math.absolute to get rid of the negative or positive. Math.absolute. Now, why is this an issue? Oh, because oh, I'm not happy with the way this is done. It's now getting complicated, and I don't want to change it back. All right, so I need to put an absolute there. Else, if it's going the other way, if it's going in a positive direction, if the v speed is going in a positive direction and it gets greater than a positive value, and it should be y because it's vertical, then set it to the positive version of the max speed into the y direction. Oh, all right, now I need to do the same thing for the horizontals and the x's. H, x, h, x, h, x, h, x, and let's hope this works. So this, let's hope this does the velocity limiting. Okay, so there you go. So it limits. Oh, but there's a bug there. See that bug? What a funny bug that is. All right, now I got to figure out what that bug is. Let me just pause. Alright, so I figured out the problem. I'm supposed to absolute everything here, so I guess what I'm going to do now is go back to what I originally thought and not change it. In here, I'm going to go v speed, v max speed, equals as single equals 0. Yeah, we don't know what it is right now. Keep that 3. This is max. We need to calculate that every time we do a turn. H max speed. It's just a lot easier. And over here, when we resolute it, we'll put it into some space, and then we will split them up. V would be the y, and H would be the x. And what I'm aiming to do is I want to math.absolute these. I only want the magnitudes, and then I want to check whether the velocity. So I want the speed, and then I'm going to find control what I'm checking. So now all of these is this, and now I don't need to worry about negatives and positives stuffing everything up. I just check these specifically. If it's less than a negative version of the magnitude, then set it to the negative version of the magnitude. If it's going positive, set it positive. And I just want the magnitudes. And I just can't be and it just can't be bothered writing math.absolute all over the joint. It just makes your code look terrible. So if it's less than a negative, set it to the negative, because you don't want to go beyond. Like, for example, You know, if your idea is this, let's say you're going in this direction, the negative direction, right? And you got like a wall. This is our number line, and this is like -5. Well, if it gets lower than -5, like -6, bring it back to -5, limit it. And if it's going this way, positive direction, same deal. If it's +5, if it gets to 6, limit back to +5. That's what I'm doing. That's the aim of this. Alright, and that should be okay now. Alright, now let's try it out. Yeah, there you go. So the speed is limiting, there's no jumpies. I can increase the velocity slightly. Max speed, put it like on 5. Keep the acceleration as half. There you go. And that concludes our spaceship. Our spaceship works the way it should. Phew. Alright, so in the next videos we're going to create the bullet, and we want to shoot the bullet, and also create the asteroids that will fly around. See you in the next video.